All right. Welcome in, guys. Week 22 or episode 22. It's week 17. I can't believe how fast the season has gone. And I can't believe that we're on this 22nd episode, but we have a crazy show for you. We're going to talk about a number of different things, but right off the top, the first thing that we need to talk about is the Buffalo Bills. Since that Hail Mary, they are, 8 out of 9 wins?
Yeah, they won 5 straight, and they're 8 of 9. That ninth loss or whatever was to the Hail Mary. So they've been on a real roll. Sean McDermott's completely turned that program around. It's amazing.
Right, and five straight since that play happened, right?
Yep.
That's unbelievable. I mean, usually a play like that makes a team fold, but the way that they're playing, they have 0 quit in them. Ask the Patriots. Ask the Broncos.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask that question to you, Dave, or to Chad. Did you think that they had a problem going up or running the score again with the last time when they did against the Broncos and you had an issue with that? Do you think this was an issue again or what?
No, I don't think it was an issue. I was it's just a big risk.
Yeah.
It's more or less you're playing for nothing. You've already won your division. You clinched your division. Yeah. At this point, if you lose Josh Allen, your season's over. So that was more my concern. I'm a firm believer, and if I put in my second string quarterback, if I bring a backup line, backup receivers, I'm calling the game the same. It's your job to stop them. Mm-hmm. That's the way I believe it.
Right.
So I don't care about you scoring 70 points.
Yeah.
But don't risk your starters in the meantime doing it because you have bigger things on the horizon.
One thing that I think I noticed though was that when they were up, when it looked like the game was it was out of hand pretty much after the second score. But when it looked like it was out of hand, I saw the play call change to the point that they weren't doing long drawn out plays that would get Allen hurt. It would just seem like everything was like a 2 second out, 2 second out, 2 second out kind of thing. And it seemed like they were just trying to pick on their division rival at the same time as allowing Josh Allen to pad a few stats there too, and stay in the game and stay healthy.
Yeah, but you lose Stephon Diggs, you're fucked.
Oh my God, yeah. Numbers.
That's the part. That's the part I'm more worried about. You lose, Josh Allen, he can get the ball out of his hands. But if you're still throwing the ball to Diggs, he's getting 10, 11 catches. That's 10 or 11 times he's getting hit. Then in 5 or 6 they don't need to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And that man has 120 catches already for the season, almost 1,500 yards.
He's in his bonus.
I'm not playing him. I'm not playing him against the Dolphins, right? There's no point.
Do you play him just for the first quarter and a bit, or
no?
Keep the legs fresh. I love Stephon Diggs. Maybe he's already done enough this year, but to me he seems like the type of receiver that he needs to play the game, or he's going to be a little bit upset.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure. I think that if I were McDermott, I would just go to him and be like, "Look, this is the situation. We're deep enough at receiver. We don't need to worry about risking you. Take your extra bye week. They're more than likely going to be going up against either if Tennessee's in that situation, it might be them, it might be Baltimore, or it could be Cleveland. Those are all teams that you want your best receiver healthy for. And based on what I've seen out of the last 2 Bills games, and trust me, I had to watch one begrudgingly, Stephon Diggs is open on every single play. Every play.
The trade really paid off for them, didn't it? Diggs got a place that he became the number 1, and he was able to get leaned on by the quarterback. Allen obviously loves the kid, and he's proving he's proving a few people wrong that said that they got ripped off there in that trade.
Well, has there been a trade that worked out better for both teams?
I don't really think there has been, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Sorry, Chad, what were you saying?
I was just saying, as far as Diggs being open, it's his feet. The only feet I've ever seen like that were Ocho Cinco's. Before he went all crazy, He
Did you see that thing that
best routes than anybody I've ever seen? And Diggs is out there they perfected their craft, and you don't have to be the fastest guy if you have the quickest feet. And if you can push guys deep and then cut back on those routes, you're gonna win every time. And that's what it comes down to. He sells the route and then he makes his break. And DBs can't react to that anymore because you can't get hands on them. So you have to give them the space. So in today's game, that makes a guy really wide open.
Right. And, they're also keeping somebody over the top of him, which you have to respect that too. So he's a dangerous guy. And going into the season, I'm not sure any of us would have said that he's a top 5 receiver in the league.
He is right
top
now.
10, but definitely. Is he top 2 right now? Top 3?
Guys, going into the season, I didn't expect this type of offense out of Buffalo. I thought it was going to be incredibly run heavy, like a modified Lamar Jackson style offense is what I thought it was going to be. Josh Allen took it to the next level, and Stephon Diggs being there is amazing.
Right, and when you're talking about Buffalo's offense, and this is something that I asked of Chad, he's been a play caller before. So as a play caller, watching the last couple of weeks, knowing what they're coming up to this week, Josh Allen's probably only going to play the first half against Miami. Yep. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. Is this going to hurt them when it comes to playoff time and they need to burn a clock out? And I get we were just talking Stephon Diggs is always open, but you don't always have the time that's required. And do they have a sustainable running game or a sustainable actual short passing game that can keep them in the lead in a playoff game and burn the clock out?
For me, I'm just thinking like they don't have a choice. So I think this would be the week. Run the ball, get these guys moving, run the ball like in the second half as much as possible, even the first half. You've already got the division. You're not playing for nothing else. You already know who you're playing. They're coming to Buffalo regardless, whoever you play. You're not going to get home field. You're going into Kansas City. So realistically,
and I heard that they're going to try and get some fans into. I don't know if it's New Era Field still, but they're going to try and sneak some fans in there. That's what I heard.
So at this point, just work on what you need to work on. You have Diggs going. You don't need to put any risk on him getting hit. You don't need to risk Allen getting hit. Just pound the ball, and some quick passes, a lot of receiver screens. Perfect the little things that you need to do to take yourself into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And that's what it needs to come down to. And just how you can control that clock is we've had the same talk about Kansas City over and over again, how they don't know how to play with a lead almost. They can come back on anybody. And we've all said, like, out of the teams in the AFC, the Titans have the best structure to play when they're winning. They have the guy that can just beat up on people, wear them down, kill that clock, grind it out. And so, but I think the other teams need to get into that mindset of playoff football is a different beast. You can't sling it 50 times. And so they're going to have to find an identity on the ground. And they want to rotate backs, go all in. Is it with the Singletary? That's who it is right there. So that's what they're going to have to do.
Singletary and Zach Moss,
You run the both of them and kill that clock and work it and get that whole line moving.
Yeah, when I look at like what the Bills are doing, and I look at like the Steelers have no fucking running game, and I think that a lot of their problems stem from they're trying to run the ball too much at a shotgun, and even just to have your quarterback take an extra step up, run out of the pistol, and at least you get your running back a head start rather than a lateral start. And a guy like Zach Moss, who was a crazy beast at Utah last year, they drafted him, they brought him in, he's a power runner. He's not a shotgun runner. So if they don't want to put Allen under center, then you got to put him in the pistol, and you could probably have Singletary beside Allen and Moss behind him, and just take a couple of different options if you need to. But that's just me calling all their plays for the playoff game.
And Allen, and obviously has the legs. He can definitely take it off and run with. Take it off. My God. Yeah. Take off and run with the ball.
You would like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not part of that Bill's Mafia, boys. No.
I'll tell you what I liked was Bill Belichick having to walk across the field to shake Sean McDermott's hand after the season that they've had, knowing what just happened to them on their home field with that billboard just outside of there.
That first sweep since '99, that's incredible. The first time they've won the division since 2000. That was probably the longest handshake. He even put his arm around him after and walked towards the sideline with him. That looked like a son, like a father putting his hand over the shoulder of the son. You know
passing of the
he's
torch.
He's never treated any other coach in the division like that. I can think of. Not one.
He's never had to.
Right.
He's never lost the division, so he never had to look at another man in the eye and say, "Hey, you got me."
Yeah.
Did you see him throw his temper tantrum on the sideline after the challenge?
Yeah, he was calling Tom Brady, saying, "Where you at?
Yeah.
I need you. Come back to me."
I saw that funny thing they had on ESPN, the Love Actually GIF. Did you see it?
No.
Where Belichick was like holding up cards in front and like things were dropping, and then Brady just slams the door on him. That's not in the movie. Like she runs after him and whatever, but like in the ESPN version, it ends a little bit funnier. So.
Kind of interesting though for the Bills to treat because they've never been like the worst of the division all the time, right? But they've been able to now look at it and trade places with the Pats and say, so this is what it feels like, right? Both of them get to say that to each other right now.
are they grounded enough to handle it? I mean, that's going to be the thing that actually ends up mattering in the long run is if they go and win or lose against Miami, it really doesn't matter. I'm not sure that the AFC teams that have clinched are actually going to do anything with their games. That's Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Kansas City. But going into wildcard weekend, if you're the Bills and you fall behind 10 points, are they going to feel like the little puckering in the buttholes, or are they poised enough to actually make it happen?
I think that this is a team. You've been ranting and raving about Sean McDermott since the second or third week of the season.
I love the guy. I think he's a great coach.
And he's kind of won a few other people over too, including myself. And this is a team that I think can get past any of those humps. This is the scariest wild card team, I would say, in the AFC to me. When they're rolling, they are rolling. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, since we're talking about the AFC, we'll just get into all the AFC madness. I mean, we got a lot of AFC games that are going to matter for this weekend. Some are for seeding, like I just said. I know for a fact, Ben Roethlisberger is not playing. Mason Rudolph is going to be playing against
Myles Garrett.
Well, it's Mason Crosby. It's apparently playing quarterback for Myles Garrett, but we'll cross that off my sheet over here.
Sorry.
We had a good laugh about it.
Yeah. Before we came on, I think Kaylin was still on his way on. But when it comes down to Tennessee is a team that I looked at thinking 2 weeks ago, I was like, all right, yeah, this is kind of a lock. I definitely didn't think that they were going to beat Green Bay, but I didn't think they were going to get abused by Green Bay. Now, the Colts kind of left the door open for you guys.
Yeah.
It's in Tennessee's hands at this point. Can Houston muster up the strength to keep you guys out of the playoffs?
Well, I'm a little worried, to be honest. The Green Bay Packers haven't exactly had the best defense in the NFL, and they were able to shut us down. I think the weather also helped them out a little bit. But this is a really bad Houston defense. Their rushing defense, I think they're allowing over 200 yards a game or something like that. They're really, really bad. Derrick Henry is trying to get 2,000 yards. He needs 240 yards or something like that to do it. This might be the team to do it against, and it's just like last year. We had to beat the Texans to get in. We win and we're in. Deshaun Watson got injured. I've been reading some of the tweets and information about it. The beat reporters down there said that they guaranteed he wasn't playing, and then today both Deshaun and the coach said that he would play if he's healthy enough. I don't know why. I just don't get it. I mean, it's an elbow injury. It doesn't make sense, but it's a division game. Maybe he plays for 2 quarters.
Did you not hear what J.J. Watt said? Of course he's going to play.
I know.
He called out that whole building.
I get it. I get it. And that's another thing that scares me too. If there's one motivational speaker in the league that gets the team behind him, it's somebody like J.J. Watt. So
the crazy part about that is he wasn't even fired up.
Yeah, he was
said that
calm.
so calm, and I was like, that makes it that much more scary.
Yeah. Well, as long as they don't have Will Fuller, that's our Titan killer. So we'll call it a scratch right now. I can't pick where I'm going in that one.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to pick the official games right now, but when it comes down to it, I mean, we have the Tennessee's playing Houston. The Browns are playing the Steelers without Ben Roethlisberger. The Dolphins are playing the Bills, maybe without Josh Allen, maybe without starters. I mean, we're speculating. We don't actually know this stuff. And what was the other? Indy's playing Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, I mean, those are the games. Those are the 4 games in the AFC. Those are really the only 4 games that matter at all.
Yeah. And some pretty boring football there, too, because you've got the Steelers playing. It sounds like they're going to be playing some of their B squad players. Then you've got a Jacksonville team who is obviously not very good. Their record shows it. And then we don't know what we're going to see at Houston, how far along he'd already played. So it's crazy that all these teams can really clinch against playing against really porous teams. And I think everybody's a little nervous going into their game this week.
Well, it's crazy, and I want to get Chad's perspective out of this. Chad tapped out. Chad, you tapped out. I was asking a question.
Oh, my bad. I was distracted.
Fair enough. I already know what you mean.
Live from Chad's bedroom.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, all 4 teams could and most likely will win this week.
Yep.
Which leaves an 11-5 team out of the playoffs. Knowing what's on the other side, which team do you think is going to be? If they all win, I think it's the Dolphins that are out, right? Or no, it's the Colts that are out if they all win. Is there an upset out there that you see that is going to keep one of these teams out that we think are supposed to get in? Cincinnati and Baltimore, I guess, is another game that matters.
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
Baltimore has to win to get in, right? Like, if they lose, then they're going to be in trouble.
Well, Indy's not going to lose because there's no way Jacksonville's risking anything.
Well, like they're locked in at the first overall pick already.
Okay, it was locked in. I was like, they were cheering every time the Bears scored last week.
Their fans there were the Jacksonville fans.
It was Jacksonville fans were cheering when the Bears scored, so we don't got to worry about that one. But yeah, as far as the teams out, I can see the Dolphins maybe not getting in. And this because it is a game, like you lose another divisional game, that's what the tiebreaker comes down to, right? So sorry, what was that?
No, go ahead. Finish yours. I'm going to chime back in after.
Yeah, I just think with a team like that, they end up losing to the Bills because maybe the Bills don't send anybody. We're wrong. But yeah, if you lose on a divisional game, maybe you and I shouldn't match up divisional records. Where are they going to fall? So hopefully for their sake, it doesn't come down to that for them. But because they're a good team, it's a good story. But Tua is not ready yet. It looks like they had a goalie at Fitzy last week, so who knows what's going to happen there. And so I think it could be the Dolphins that are out.
It's the baseball theory, Chad. There's nothing wrong with bringing your closing pitcher in there, right, Shane? You know all about that stuff.
Hey, bring him up when you got to, But if, I would be nervous, and that's what I was going to say too. I'd be nervous if I was the Dolphins too, just watching the way that the Bills have been playing and the fact that they don't seem like a team that wants to take their foot off the pedal at any point in time. And I think that they're probably feeling that Mason Rudolph would give the Steelers a better chance than Matt Barkley would give the Bills to win a game. And I feel bad for the Dolphins. It kind of sucks for them. It'd be nice to have them in the playoffs, but I think it's going to be 3 from the North and the Colts.
So I think I don't know if I really call it an upset because obviously the record is showing that one team is better than the other one, but it'd be an upset for the city and the team. And I think the Steelers could probably beat the Browns this weekend. I don't think it's out of the question. If you had asked me 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I would have probably sided with the Browns. But after the product the Browns put on the field last week, I'm a little nervous to side with them going against whatever the team the Steelers put on the field. So I don't know. That's my upset there. I think the Browns.
Beer refill.
Yeah, getting some Mr. Insurance Man, right?
As far as the Browns go, their product last week, it shouldn't be there this week, right? They got their guys back. Yeah,
I know they had some wide receiver injuries, and losing Jarvis Landry is going to be huge. Obviously, the guys had a good season, productive season.
Their whole team had COVID.
It was just the wide receivers.
Yeah, the whole group.
Your boy Harrison Bryant just went on the COVID list today, Chad.
Well, I guess he'll miss a block this week.
Titans lost their kicker and their punter today too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they stand a chance to win a game without their kicker.
He's missed a couple.
He's not been too bad since the Steelers game.
That guy sucks. Jockstrap.
That's
Jockstrap.
The Jacques.
That's from our friends over at Toboggan.
Yeah, and then looking over at the NFC, Jesus, I mean, there's a couple of games that matter over there too, right?
With worse quarterbacks, yeah.
Yeah.
The most important game of the week has the 2 worst quarterbacks in it.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time the conferences were this lopsided as far as talent level goes. Like the win losses are pretty even out here, but like the talent level is brutal.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I think that the top of the NFC is better than the top of the AFC, but the AFC overall is stronger because I like the way that the Saints play. I like the way that the Packers play, and then it kind of cuts off there. Whereas the power rankings went out today, and I didn't move the Chiefs off the number 1 spot because they're still winning, so whatever.
Mm-hmm. You said that the Packers would be number 1.
They should have been. Yeah, they should have been, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You got lazy.
I couldn't. I couldn't stomach BCSing them. Yeah, they would have got BCSed, but yeah, I mean the Packers. I think that the Packers are the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now.
Well, they have the
MVP. That makes me want to vomit.
They have the MVP.
Well, I didn't realize some of the stats until I read Chad's article. After I read Chad's article, I was ready for February 7th. Let's fucking go. Packers win the Super Bowl. Yeah.
So y'all better get to the website and read that article then.
Yeah. Did you read it yet?
I haven't had the chance to. I was preparing
Jeez,
for the show today.
There was only
get a
115
perm.
edits in this one, not 127. So we're getting better every week.
Good for you,
Yeah.
Chad. Yeah.
And I don't think there's any spelling mistakes, was there? I think it was just a couple grammar things.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah, I think we're good, man.
Yeah, they have editors on the New York Times.
Anyway.
We have one on this show.
So leading into you picked the Packers for the Super Bowl, so that leads us into Week 17, where they're still playing to potentially win the NFC, right? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
So-
They kind of have to win to lock it up. I guess the Seahawks are still technically in the mix for the top spot if the Bears were to pull it out.
Jeez, that's crazy. The Seahawks.
Now, have you guys ever played with the ESPN playoff machine?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just
I'm a
goofing around
Bucks
with it
fan,
before we
man.
came.
We don't do this.
So
It's been 15
basically, it's just a
years.
simulate. It's a simulator. You pick all the games, and it shows you where the tiebreakers are and who's going to get in, who's not going to get in.
Okay.
If the Bears can lose to the Packers, and as long as the Rams win, the Bears are still going to get in. So the only way that the Bears don't get in is if they beat the Rams. Essentially, like if the Bears lose to the Packers and the Cardinals beat the Rams, then both the Cardinals and the Rams will be in. But
Wow.
if the Rams win and no matter what the Bears do, then the Cardinals will be out.
So they're really playing for a lot then this game. So they've got the team playing to make the playoffs, and you got a quarterback playing to potentially stay with the team.
And I have a confession to make. And Chad, you're gonna have to do this too. You're gonna have to get on this with me. We are signing a petition to the Bears fans saying we are sorry. The Bears actually can run the ball. It was the run plays that sucked. David Montgomery actually might be a decent running back in the NFL. And you guys know me. You know how hard it is for me to swallow my pride on shit. But I watched the last couple Bear games, and I was like, we are going to have to say something because we have too many Bears fans that watch this. And I'm sure they're just sitting there like waiting for us to say it.
So I think tomorrow we'll go on our story, and I'll teach you how to do it, Shane. And we'll do a verbal apology, and we'll do it to Instagram. Apologizing to the fans of Chicago.
Well,
I can't
Liam
wait to
could
see yours.
And
Liam, you can clip this, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Liam's going to clip this for us so that I don't have to apologize twice.
No, you're still gonna have to apologize. I'm gonna clip it to hold it on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all known you too long. We need to see this.
So I ask you, gentlemen, a question then here though. Going into this game, when you've got the Packers versus the Bears, we know what the Bears are playing for. They're winning, they're in. The Packers already are going to make the playoffs. If they play everybody to try and get that first round bye, they could risk an injury. So what is more important to you, a first round bye or going in knowing you're going to be injury free to your most key components?
Well, I think when you go in and you're thinking that you're setting people to get injured, it might be the wrong way to look at it. I know that we talked about that with the Bills, but the way to look at it is you want your guys to be as healthy and rested as possible going into the playoff game. So for Aaron Rodgers, he's 38 years old, which, again, I wouldn't have actually known that until I read Chad's article. Which
no, but I don't see any gray on that boy anywhere, eh?
Yeah.
It's all the scotch.
You have a 38-year-old quarterback, and you have an opportunity to get him a week off. Yeah, you're gonna play him week 17. It sucks to be a Bears fan because based on the quarterback matchup that we have in the Rams and the Cardinals, then we'll circle back to that. I don't think that's just a coin flip. So if I were the Packers, I would at least try and get a halftime lead, and then I'm just not sure that the Packers have a suitable backup. I know they drafted Jordan Love, but he's not even being active for game days. So, I think that you have to go for the number one. You have to go for the bye. I mean, on the other side, when we were talking about like what Pittsburgh and Buffalo are going to do, I mean, they're just playing for positioning. The bye is already locked up. It doesn't really matter.
What time is I didn't check to see the Packers game. What time is it at?
I believe it's at 4 o'clock or 4:30 or whatever. They definitely structured it so that the Packers and
it's not like they're not going to know or anything, right?
They structured it so it's at the same time. So I think that would have to be
a West Coast team, right? So they have to play in the 4 o'clock time slot for the NFC West.
I think majority of the games that matter are at 4:30 on Sunday, and then there's obviously the game at 8:30 that matters a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what happens during the overall. What's up?
As I say, like as far as I said, resting your players and like all that goes, it's really all as far as what a lot of these guys are really resting for. Like, there's no home field anymore, so it doesn't matter where you travel to. Like,
Minus weather.
Yeah.
Weather could be the only difference.
I don't think there's worse weather than Green Bay.
Yeah.
KC. Those are the only two teams that I think they're going to have like that type of home field advantage.
Like flying out to Seattle, like obviously the time change will suck.
Mm-hmm.
But for guys like that, it's not going to make that much of a difference for one game. They're not staying out there, and you're not going to hear that crowd in Seattle. There's no effect on you.
Right.
So it's just strictly down to get them that bye week if they feel they need it. Like if you can play one less game, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think as far as the Packers go, I can't see A-Rod in after the first half.
Yeah. Well, I think they kind of stumbled into like a three-headed monster there as far as running backs go. We talked about A.J. Dillon before the season started. We thought that he was going to be a bigger factor in the season, but we also didn't realize that Jamal Williams took up CrossFit and became like a superhuman. So now they have those three guys, which I think that any team would sign up. I mean, I guess teams like Tennessee already have a starting running back, but there's a lot of teams out there that would sign up for any of those three guys as their starting running back. And they have all three of them.
And then when the cold weather comes, that AJ downhill run is going to start abusing people.
Yeah.
And you have Aaron Jones do the rest.
Yeah. And Jamal Williams is still there. So
and he's a red zone
team.
freak. Yeah, he's a red zone freak, that Williams kid.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how you're going to defend people like that. As far as NFC, like the rest of the games go, I mean, it's New Orleans is playing the Panthers. I don't think that game really has a lot of significance. And I guess it would if Seattle wins, and Seattle would jump them to get the 2 seed. But as far as jockeying for positions, if you don't get the bye, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
Unless New Orleans wants to be home. That's the thing. You don't want Drew traveling, right?
Yeah.
You have a dome game with Drew Brees. That might be a bit better for him as it is. He's like 41 years old now.
Avoid traveling. And the other thing is, I don't think anybody would want to play a division opponent in the playoffs. Like that's just right. You're built to beat each other, and a third round about it in the season, that's tough. Whatever you can do to try and avoid that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looks like that's going to happen on the AFC side, but and actually potentially with the NFC West as well. So let's talk about this quarterback matchup a little bit. We know nothing about these guys. I sent you that picture that I found on Adam Schefter's Twitter, and it was a backup quarterback from the CFL and a backup quarterback from the XFL are starting week 17 to decide who's going to the playoffs.
Yeah, somebody tweeted earlier today a video of a preseason play of that St. Louis. He was St. Louis then, but LA quarterback like throwing a laser. It was now, mind you, preseason. He's not playing against starters, but it was an absolute dot. And anyway, the guy was talking about we should get excited to see the kid play. I'm not getting excited to see anybody play but Jared Goff right now.
You have two offensive coaches. You have to assume that they know something that nobody else does. And I don't know how two teams like that had playoff aspirations wouldn't have a notable backup of any kind. But I guess the Cardinals have Brett Hundley from the guy that used to play for Green Bay.
Yeah.
But this guy's going to start over him. So, I mean, that tells you all you need to know about Brett Hundley, I think.
And Cooper Kupp got the 1-9. Came out today.
Oh, shit. Wow. Like he actually got it or he got close contracted?
It just says he's on the list. And I got from Fantasy Pros. And that site's usually pretty legit. So.
Yeah, they are. They actually won me a bet the other day.
Yeah, I call them the bad news app because whenever it pops on my phone, it never tells you good news. Like somebody's missing time. Like you're driving, you're like, I'm not reading this yet because this is gonna ruin someone's day.
Yeah. Well, that's where we're kind of at on that one.
Well, where I think out of that game, personally, I think that the Rams have the advantage there. I like Cliff Kingsbury. I like his scheme and such. But I think that the one who has the more simple or can more simplify his scheme easiest is Sean McVay. We've seen how he treated Jared Goff when, Jared would have him in the mic into the last seconds, letting him know what was going on at the line. We all thought that they were just trying to prevent people from being able to sub on the defense. What they were really doing is get into the line and letting Sean McVay see what was on the field and then telling Goff what to do, essentially. So I trust him with a quarterback who hasn't proven himself more than I'll trust somebody like Cliff Kingsbury, whose offense is more sporadic and spread out and takes a few more shots, a hell of a lot more shots. Rookies or kids are willing to do that, but you got to be accurate doing it too.
Cliff Kingsbury, he's from the air raid offense too, right? So, I mean, it's a different style. I think that what the Rams can do is run the ball, and I don't know if they're going to have that Akers guy back, but Henderson and Brown, I mean, they're capable running backs, and they have a decent line. So, I would side with what Kaylin said as far as who has the upper hand going into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, interesting question because we've touched upon this a little bit. Now, each of us are going to play the position of one of the coaches, and for argument's sake, we're just not going to be the coaches of our favorite team. So, Chad, I'm going to make you like Tomlin, and Kaylin, you're going to be Bruce Arians, and I'm going to be Sean McDermott.
Okay.
So we have a decision to make on: are we going to start our starters? How long are we going to play them if we decide to start them? Or are we just going to, ride week 17, see what's in it, and let's get to the playoffs?
Yeah,
I'll go first. First things first, though, not one guy in this conversation is as cool as Bruce Arians. I just want to throw that out there first. Like, no one is as cool as Bruce Arians.
Not even Liam?
Maybe Liam.
Liam is wearing a sailor shirt right now.
I got to be honest, man, and you're not going to hear this probably ever again, so soak it in, Shane. Mike Tomlin has looked like a character out of Bad Boys for his entire career, and I've absolutely enjoyed it. He might be the coolest freaking coach in the NFL.
Well, I agree with you, but Chad is going to talk to us about whether we're starting people or not.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Mike Tomlin, I am starting my starters. For the simple fact, we've had a rough go the last month. We haven't been clicking. Things haven't always been going on cylinders. We have time to get things going, get all the little kinks out. I'm not saying they stay in the whole game, but I want to see my guys develop drives. We started the game rough, the game last week bad. We got it rolling in the second half. I want to see where that carries on to. If we get a couple good drives out, control the ball, run the clock, get in the end zone, then I have no problem pulling my guys. But with the way that they've been playing the last month, on and off, hot and cold, I can't risk that going to the playoffs. I need my best players playing. So I would be keeping my guys in at least to start the game.
Yeah, all right.
And then reevaluate at halftime, basically is what you're saying. Okay. Kayla, what do you say? And Bruce Arians.
Well, you talked earlier about having that old quarterback needing an off week there. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room as far as who you're going to be playing against anyway. I know you don't really want Tom lined up against the Giants because he doesn't have a good history with them in the playoffs. But I think this is the week that you tell Tom you can have it off. I don't think that Mike Evans, Godwin, they don't need any more playing time either outside of the first half just to keep the legs fresh. The defense needs to play. You got a lot of young kids out there. They're going into an important type of playoff experience or type of playoff atmosphere. Sorry, this is the time they need the experience of crucial games and what it means to get over that hump. So I think you play the entire defense the whole way through. Maybe JPP takes a rest, but I don't think you play Tom at all, and the wide receivers can get out by the first half.
I think the receivers got to stay in for the simple fact that if Blaine has Tom Brady's an old man, and if he's going into the cold, he's one shot away from being done. He's a couple bad throws from being done.
That's fair. So
I would keep them in.
So you're looking for some game time reps for him.
Yeah, so Blaine can get time with those guys. He had a decent second half last week as a really bad Detroit team, but also they started running the ball just to get the fuck out of there. And I think it's time to get those reps in for those guys. So I think for as far as they go, maybe not the whole game, but I think maybe good probably. Bunch of long drives, halftime, you reassess the concept of the Pittsburgh thing. But yeah, as far as those reps goes, you got to keep them in and get those reps in with Blaine in case something happens with Tom. He hasn't been consistent enough, in my liking, to warrant those guys not playing.
Yeah, and I mean, just kind of expanding on, you talked about what you do if you were the Steelers. So for me, if just looking at it, I think that the way that their run game is run, it's terrible. And that's because Roethlisberger's not good under center. If I were Tomlin, I would be curious to put somebody under center with a little bit more athleticism behind their belt right now and see if running under center is going to be worthwhile. And it might honestly determine whether Roethlisberger's the quarterback next year. Obviously, he's the quarterback for the playoff run. and I'm not endorsing getting rid of Roethlisberger, but if they're saying they can't run the ball because their quarterback, his knees are shot, his arms are shot, then it might be. The Steelers are notorious for getting rid of a player a year too early than a year too late.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, as far as Buffalo goes, I'm gonna say Josh Allen, stay at home for the week. Don't even come into the facility. Come in to get your test and go home, because I do not want you in close contact with anybody. Stephon Diggs, same thing. All the boys that are heavy contributors, I want all of you guys to stay home. We have a 16-man practice squad. I'm bringing them all up. I don't want anybody losing any confidence playing against that Miami defense. And if we beat them with Matt Barkley, we beat them with Matt Barkley. If we have to play them next week because they earn their way into the playoffs, so be it. But that's how I would feel.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan to me. I would be doing the exact same thing that you're saying right now. Now, just to throw a little.
I mean, and that's.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to lead into another coach here. That we were doing this whole "What would you do?" I wanted to talk about Gase. What would you do if you're Adam Gase? You finally won a couple of games against the Browns, who were supposed to be a pretty powerful team coming into that game. And now we get rumors that are floating out that internally the owner has let it be known that the what are you pointing at over there?
Yeah.
Is that a scotch?
Only your nose is on the screen.
Is on the screen.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
There you go. So you've won a couple of games. The offense is looking okay. The owners now let it internally be known that you're not going to be here next year. So two things. How do you prepare a team to go into this game meaningless? And second, nobody's going to remember you based off this last game. It doesn't like if you expect to get another head coaching opportunity, and you're probably not. It doesn't matter how this game turns out as far as your resume to potentially get that coaching position. So do you go into this as a dead leg, or do you actually try and prove that? Like, I'm winning. I won 3 games in a row, and I'm turning the program in the right direction.
You lost at all the wrong times.
I'll tell you why. Yeah. I'll tell you why this guy is going to go out there. He's going to be an offensive coordinator next year on whatever team it is, or a quarterback's coach or something. He's going to have a job next year. And it's going to be 100% based on the performance that his offense has against the Patriots defense this week. You go out there and you say, yeah, I finished the season. You know, we finally got this shit turned around. We beat the Rams. We beat the Browns. And then we thumped on our division rival, the Patriots. You know, just as I turned around, someone else is going to enjoy it. It's kind of like the Gruden Super Bowl from Tony Dungy. But Gase is going to have a job in the NFL, and and that's going to be one of the ways that he gets it.
Did you see the soundbite? Now, without hearing how it was said or anything, just because you're the king of sarcasm, I think, of any friend that I know, Shane. Belichick was asked about Adam Gase and the program that he's been running over with the Jets. And Belichick's response today was that he's done an extraordinary job this year turning that team around. What do you think of that?
Yeah,
is it an underhanded compliment or what?
That is a shot across the bow. 100%.
I love how he takes his shot. Like a comment like that, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Belichick, this is probably one of the years that he's been the most outspoken. You know, he made his comments earlier in the season about how they've been like 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls or 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls, and you know, like, all right, well, cool, man, it's all good. Yeah. Nobody thought Jarrett Stidham was your starter. You know, you got Cam Newton for cheap, but you know, that pretty much, I guess that pretty much puts a bow on what we've been looking at as far as Week 16 goes. We're gonna carry into Week 17 a little bit later on in the week, but what else is it going? We've been loaded with sports, and I know that nobody else has anything to do. So, you know, the Team Canada World Juniors are 3-0.
Yeah, we touched base on that. And Chad, what did you say? Yeah. Outscoring people by
is anybody surprised by that?
Sorry, what was that, Kaylin?
I said, what did you say that they were outscoring people by in that tournament?
I said it's 29-3.
Is that even hockey? Does it even matter anymore? Get it? Just hand them the grouping.
Me and Shane lost a slow pitch game that bad once.
Slow pitch.
Yeah,
that's rough. I like how they absolutely drubbed Germany after I went and kind of said I wouldn't mind them playing well. The first period was good hockey, and then after that, this is the only thing that I hate about this type of hockey, though, is when we play terrible teams it's boring to watch after the second period.
The big problem is going to be when they have to cross over.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they've never been tested.
I agree. Those teams are all playing hard hockey.
So they're like, we haven't been tested at all. We had a 5-minute power play a penalty kill in the first game. It didn't even look like we were on a penalty kill.
Yeah, that was terrible, man. Terrible, like not for us, but I mean for them. Like to see a team getting destroyed like that. And it's not even like Canada was doing anything extra, extra special or anything. They played pretty basic hockey from the looks of things once they got up by a certain amount, but they're not going to stop scoring. This is, for the country. That's not going to happen.
Germany had 13 skaters. We had 13 forwards.
Yeah. Well, team-wise, they're a little tired, no doubt. I think we played a few pickup. Anybody else played a pickup game like that where the other team shows up with 10, and then you got only 7 people playing, and one of them's the goalie?
Yeah. So no, it's the line that's actually really impressing me. I'll say Cousins and McMichael. They're going to do their thing. They're the 2 best players on the team. The Pelletier and Byfield. Third line, they're scoring at will. They're controlling the puck deep in the end. They're rotating the puck, getting it back to defenders. So right now, I think that's actually their best line all around, and they had a great game, all 3 so far. And they've all been putting the puck in the net, and they're all contributing on all 3 phases. So I think that's the line that people aren't really expecting to do well, and they are.
Mm-hmm. We talk about crossing over. The goalies there, they're not, facing top shot. In Germany, they face 6 shots. I don't even know how
not tested.
Can't get warm.
Yeah, I know tonight they didn't face a lot of shots, and they're going to have a decent test against Finland. Finland's not on the caliber of what the U.S. and Russia and Sweden is. But crossing over, I've watched some of the other sides games, and it looks like Sweden might actually be the team to beat on the other side.
U.S. just slaughtered somebody there yesterday,
man.
wasn't it? Wasn't it like 16-1 or something like that?
Today they beat somebody, but Czech Republic, maybe?
Yeah, it might have been.
They're the only team scoring like Canada has so far. So
a little scary to see that. Yeah, the Czech and the Russia game. Do you know what the score was on that? Because last I saw it, the Czech were up. So to me, like if the Russia's losing to somebody like the Czech, it's USA Canada final.
Russia.
That's kind of what we. Yeah. That side is going to be a little bit harder fought. So there's 2 ways to look at it. Canada's not going to be tested enough going into the medal round, or those teams are going to be so banged up from playing each other so hard coming into the medal round, and whichever way you want to go about it. But lots of other sports have been going on, and we were talking about the Joe Cool's clutch delivery of the week. So that's something new that we're going to start, and Kaylin has the Joe Cool's clutch delivery for you. We're going to get this done before Chad falls asleep.
Yes, past the bedtime, guys. Let's go.
Well, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to any NBA games that have been on. It's been awesome to see it's finally back because it was a pretty quick layoff there. But KD, he's had an awesome couple of games or a few games coming back. He got postered by Scary Terry the other day. Or yesterday, I think it was actually. Beautiful dunk. And Scary Terry coming from Boston, obviously I got some hype for him. So, and the jerseys they were wearing were pretty sweet too. So that's my delivery of the week for sure.
All right. And, college football bowl season's here. We'll talk about the college football playoff a little bit. No one cares about the Alamo Bowl.
The best bowl of all time.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing, but I'm watching the Texas-Colorado game right now, and Texas just missed a field goal. So, no big deal. They're still at 14. No big deal. But we got the playoff coming up. We'll talk about that a little bit with our pickup show. And other than that, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate all the support from whatever group we're posting in. And thanks for checking us out.
See you guys.